What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is a really fun video that I'm super excited to share. I've started using a flash with my Mamiya RB67 Pro with the Instax back. And so it's going to be very interesting. I'm going to show you through the chronology in order from the first time I used the flash, just kind of on camera. You just run the little sync cord to a little port, flash on camera. And then after a few packs doing it that way, I got a little bit bored and wanted to get a little bit more interesting, and so I ended up putting my transmitter on here and having the flash off camera with the receiver, and I could put it anywhere I want to. And the tricky thing about when the flash is on camera, especially with my process, is that I have to have the subject hold the meter, which they don't know what the hell they're doing. I test the flash, and then sometimes unwittingly I move forward 6 inches, back 6 inches, and then the meter reading is no longer applicable. They might move back, they might move forward. It moves very quick out there, and I want perfect exposures, and it's such a wild environment when I'm on the street. Sometimes there's a lot of people around that I've missed my exposure because something happened. The amazing thing about taking the flash off the camera is, with my meter, it has a transmitter, so I can just go up to my subject, trigger the flash, and then no matter where I move, because the flash is the same distance from the subject, the exposure is going to be perfect. So I can move back, I can move forward, I can do anything I want, and it's 1,000 times easier, and it gives me the option to shape the light on their face in 1,000 more interesting ways. And so you'll see the evolution from the first shot where I kind of blew the dude out, and then to the last where they just get better and better and better. So I'm super excited to share these with you. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to get right to the pictures because I want you to see them right away. Talk to you next time. Bye. So this is the very first shot I did with flash, and I had just parked my motorcycle, and this guy was sitting right there. And I said, hey, let's pop off a shot, and he said, sure. And so you can see that it's obviously overexposed. Instax film is really sensitive when it comes to flash, and so with the second one I adjusted it down, and the angle of the flash was still a bit funny. So you can see as they progress along, and this was the same night, maybe an hour later, and I'm starting to dial in and getting a little more skin tones in there. This one I blew out because I think I tested the flash and stepped forward maybe a couple feet. But it's super tricky, especially with the close-up ones. Now this one, and this girl is so epically beautiful. This is she was in the group from before, and they met me later, maybe an hour later, and did individual shots. Now I'm really starting to dial it in and realize that with people with Caucasian skin need to be at least a stop underexposed in order to see any skin detail. And so this was actually a triple exposure. The damn flash wouldn't go off 3 times in a row, and it actually made a cool effect with the lights in the background. And it worked out. And that's one advantage of shooting at night, is that you can do multiple exposures, and since it's using a flash and there's hardly any ambient light, it will still work out. So now you can see that I'm really starting to really get the skin detail in these photos. I'm figuring out the spread of the flash. You can change the zoom of the flash. And I realized that at 50 millimeters it was a little bit too angled up. Then I decided to get crazy and go shoot a live show. And so what I did is I took 1 meter reading from this distance and just sort of guessed from here on out. And somehow I kind of nailed the exposures, which I was really shocked about. This was a damn near impossible environment to shoot in, by the way. Not so much the live show, except as the portraits I'm going to show you here in a second. It was completely pitch black in there, so I had to have the subject hold their phone flashlight up to their face so I can get my focus, then have them hold the meter, then do a reading, and then take the shot. And you can see again here the angle of the flash was a little bit too high, and it sort of missed her face. And so after seeing that, I was able to sort of make some adjustments from there. Also, my flash doesn't sit directly straight forward on the mount, and so I have to turn the head of the flash. Oh, okay, never mind. I suddenly hit the shutter release when I was just supposed to hit the test button, and so you see how I meter my photos. And so here's a perfect example of If she metered at 5.6 and she's a pale human being, 5.6 is not the right setting for the camera. So this is the first moment that I took an off-camera flash with this setup. And I was just cooking dinner for some neighbors, and I just got the idea. My background's already set up. Let's fire this off and see how it comes out. And I was really happy with the results, and that set off the next week of my life doing this out on the street. So you can immediately see the difference between the on-camera direct flash and moving it to the side. It creates so much more mood, so much more depth of tone. It's a night and day difference, and it's pretty much how I'm going to shoot from here on out with the flash, unless I don't have a tripod or something like that with me. And here again, I reflected that second shot of that guy. It's just so much more interesting than had the flash been shooting straight at them. I've been playing a lot with shooting up on people too. I think it creates a little bit more of a commanding presence of them, and that's kind of what I actually like about the waist level finder. This shot, he smiled right as I took the picture. I didn't want that, so I actually shot a second shot of him, and I dialed in the exposure a little bit more on that second shot too. It is really delicate. I mean, just a few inches forward or back, it changes everything. Here again, I turned the flash head just a little bit too far to the right on this occasion, and I mean, it still looks cool, but it missed a good portion of her face. This is a very special photo that I'm going to follow up on with a story later, but this was a very big deal, and I'm just going to leave a little carrot dangling for you about that one. I love this photo. This guy looks really awesome. This guy again, well, I guess I'll give a little tip. There's somebody filming me now doing these portraits, and I'm all mic'd up, and the footage is really great. I'm getting a lot of really emotional reactions to people seeing their photos. I'll just say that. And it's being captured beautifully on film, and I'm super grateful for the guy who's doing that footage for me. Here's the light pushed off way to the side again to create that really great shadow inside of their face. I'm super into group shots. These group shots are so much easier now that I can keep the flash way closer to them than the camera. I'm actually pretty far away. It's a 127mm lens, so I was maybe 25 feet from them when I took that picture. This was just a test shot because the frame right before us got stuck in the camera, and I had to take the film out of the camera in order to make sure it was still good. So I just fired that off real fast just to make sure it still worked. I'm throwing in these shots because there's something I've discovered about Instax Monochrome, which is it performs way better when the subject is against a darker background. So this again is just in front of that same gray background you saw in that video in the middle of this video. It does something about the film just reacts way better when there's a neutral or dark background in the background. It makes everything better about the photo. It just does not handle highlights really well at all. And so everywhere I look for, I'm going to look for a darker background or a contrasty background. These are all just natural light, by the way. I get a really great bounce off the house to the left of me that acts as a reflector onto my porch, and it works out really great. So I don't have to do any additional tweaking to get these nice shadows on people's faces. I took this same girl out to this, I was doing headshots for her, and I took her to this little hallway in Santa Ana. And same thing, this is a great opportunity to shoot on a dark background with some depth that's falling away from the camera. And I think that really, really helps make the ambiance and the mood of the photo really great. Anyways, everybody, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will talk to you later. Bye.